quite a few folks here, so I'm gonna go ahead and officially bring the December 2025 Vermont Democratic Disability Caucus to order at 6:03. Um, Please let the minutes reflect that. For those watching this recording or joining us for the first time, the mission of this caucus is to create visibility and a strong voice for the disability community in Vermont politics by providing an intersectional space for disabled people to connect, create safety, and build political power. Okay. Um, I Before we kick off with the housekeeping stuff, approving the minutes and agenda, Nick, would you be able to email Misi, or do you have her phone number? Could you text her?
I don't have her phone number.
Okay.
I can email.
Um, Okay, maybe I'll do that when you're giving your officer's report. And we will just start with the housekeeping stuff. The first thing is the approval of the minutes, but there was a mix-up with understanding when the minutes were going to happen. So we don't have them right now. We will send them out in an email later in uh, January, or we will approve. We'll go over the minutes in and these minutes in the next meeting that we have. Huh. So, moving on, we will look to the agenda. Do I hear a motion to approve the meeting agenda?
So moved.
All right. So, meeting agenda approval motion approved by Asher,
Second, second.
second by you and Bear. Okay, fantastic. So. I just want to remind everyone that we have added in a 10-minute break into our meeting. It'll happen at the 45-minute mark. We did this for our interpreters to give them a break with their hands, but I was thinking about this, and I think it behooves all of us, especially in the disability community, to take a second. This is a long meeting, and after, a long day for some of us, it's an evening meeting. So, I would like to
I
keep it on
agree.
the record. Okay, great. So moving on, we will go into officer reports. I will start by sharing that the hospitals, or the hospitals, that's where my brain is at. The holidays and health has been a little tricky for me, including hospital stuff and stays. So I apologize if I've been slow to respond. If you haven't seen as much action in the Facebook group or emails from me, this month has been uh, a little rough. But I am feeling better, and as the holidays slow down and the new year comes through, I'm looking forward to things calming down and uh, taking it from there. So, with that, I wanted to share that my New Year's resolution is to get some housekeeping done for this caucus. We've said this, or I believe I've said this over and over the past like 4 or 5 chair reports, is that our Google account isn't working, so our secretary can't access the email account. And I'm gonna fix that. I'm going, it is on my uh chopping block. I'm gonna get it done. So that is my New Year's resolution. Get this housekeeping stuff done. Along with a big one, which is fundraising for the caucus. We talked a little bit about it last meeting, raising funds for ourselves to have so we can design stuff like pins. That show like that we're a part of the caucus to wear if to functions like at the state house, etc. And then also attain funding for our lovely interpreters because it's important to me personally that we um, show them appreciation and their value for the incredible work that they do for us. And ASL interpretation should be um, uh, a what's the phrase? It should be a non can someone help me here? It's the
Base,
non
a baseline.
Non-negotiable.
Yeah,
yes,
okay.
yes.
Or a baseline requirement.
Yeah, exactly. And it's silly that it's not. And especially for any public event. So, um, that
I
is,
agree. I agree. That's from
thank you.
Franny.
Yeah. Thank you, Friendly. Yeah. It's so silly that it's not. So, those are the big things that I've been thinking about this month while I've been going through some health shenanigans, and also, uh, like I said, the holidays, as I'm sure everybody feels the same. Maybe not so much with the health stuff, but the holidays can be hectic and healing at the same time. Um, so with that, I'm going to listen in on our vice chair's report and see if I can get in touch with our secretary. Nick. Sorry. Does anyone have any discussion on anything I shared? Okay, cool. Nick, take it away.
Hey, so basically, I'm looking forward to um, on the executive committee of the Vermont Democratic Party as assistant secretary. So I'm looking forward to help push for ASL interpreters at our upcoming meetings. I'm going to try to get on the agenda. Other than that, health-wise, I think and just work-wise and personally, I'm doing pretty well. Uh, for in that regard, just plugging along in life. Um, Other than that, when it comes to disability caucus, I've been just giving updates at have a state committee meeting. What we've been
Excuse me, I'm
doing.
sorry, Nick, you're cutting out. I can't hear can you say that again, please, other
Uh,
than the
uh, uh,
caucus?
well, other when it comes to the disability caucus, I've been giving updates at state committee meetings and just been trying to pay attention to emails, rest of what the caucus has been doing. So, and I look forward to getting more involved with that. And so, that's what I've been doing. Elizabeth.
Thanks, Nick. I wondered whether do you have a sense that the whole VDC supports the and it would support any kind of uh, um, platform that the Vermont um, Democratic Disability Caucus would put forward? Do you get a sense that this caucus is supported by the whole?
Well, I get a sense that we're supported. I'm sure if we, um, I'm sure if we, if you know, that if we start asking for a lot of money, basically, that there might be some pushback eventually because the budget's always tight. But
I guess I'm
eh,
asking more about whether, if, for example, a year from now, we all decided collectively that we had one initiative that was so important it cannot be ignored, and we took it up to the state level. Do you think the state would include it in its statewide platform? Do you get that sense? I know you're not. I mean,
I think I've been at state conventions before. I think they're always the state caucus, the agenda convent, the platform conventions. I mean, and they're always friendly towards ideas and suggestions. So I think they would be.
okay, thank you.
And I will just jump in and add my 2 cents to that. When setting up the VD, um, our caucus page with the VDP. They were very excited to have us, and the Pride Caucus started. I felt very supported, especially when Jim Ramsey was at the helm. We have Lachlan Francis there now, and he is on my list of folks to invite to come join us for a meeting, and along with maybe other folks from the executive committee to really make that connection and hear us and learn who and what we're all about.
I guess I do not, just to clarify, I don't question whether the Vermont Democratic Caucus supports this caucus. I know they do. I mean, they've been very clear about their support. I was just, trying to think as we think about the beginning of the new year, what do we really want? And can we envision a year from now having a platform that we try to get the Democratic Caucus to adopt as part of its statewide um, platform, and and also likewise, the elections are coming up this year, and maybe we can think about supporting candidates at various levels.
Yeah, I would say yes to that as well. Perhaps we are at the starting gate. We're not quite no as well known, but people do recognize us and support us. And as we do things like attend the Disability Day of Awareness on February 11th, and then the follow-up on March 11th, with the Disability Rights Vermont. I think stuff like that will really bolster our uh, presence and show folks that we are a force to be reckoned with, and have some really great ideas and great people supporting this caucus and that are invested in it. So yes, I think we are, and we will get even better. Nick, do you agree?
I definitely agree as well.
Cool. Um, okay, I see Franly, do you have your hand up?
Okay. Yes, I do. Hold on a sec. Let me get my hand down. Um, Clearly I'm thinking, I'm being out of state. I'm not in Vermont, but I noticed that it's really important to different things. At the same time, however, I've been talking with the deaf community in Vermont that live in Vermont and are Vermonters, and they've been there. And I've been talking to them, and they're talking about access and accessibility issues across the board for different programs. And I've been listening to their comments and concerns, and I'm trying to, get things established in Vermont as I'm working with Vermont Association of the Deaf. And one big goal that we're working on is supporting candidates that can make things happen. It's like the same thing over and over and over again, oftentimes happens, but it's like a weak understanding they have related to sign language and deaf and hard of hearing, deaf blind community and how to make language more accessible in programs. It's a strong idea. I'm thinking of like related to disability rights and communication access to make that happen. It's kind of the same old story I'm hearing over and over again. It's just not communication access that Vermonters, the deaf community in Vermont is experiencing over and over again. So, we live in Vermont, and people who live in Vermont just need to get full access and get a commitment from candidates to listen to that and have that can do attitude to make things happen because we missed out on so much information that's disseminated to the hearing public, but we missed that. So I just wanted to kind of throw that out there and see where, from me and our kind of approach to for communication access. Thanks.
Yeah, definitely. So two things. I would love it if I could have you be a voice to the deaf community to tell them about this caucus and to join in, and so we can we can have them here and have those voices be directly like among these people and these representatives that join us and the guests special guests that we have and have them be heard directly. And secondly, later in this meeting, we're going to be talking about our rapid response team. And one of the big things that we've chatted about in the past is a communication rapid response for things like um, natural disasters, like special events, etc., like stuff that needs to be shared with the people, and that the people includes the disability and community, which includes the deaf and hard of hearing. Does that answer?
Exactly
Yeah.
what, yeah, spot on what you said. That rapid
Yes,
response
exactly.
exactly
Yes,
leads
yes.
to what I'm thinking about. One comment I hear, and it's important, like emergencies, of course, natural disasters, but I just local things like, just events that are happening in Burlington or events that are happening in Brattleboro, public events, just how to help businesses plan more for accessibility, to provide I don't know, some kind of information for them for how they can provide communication access and to make it more accessible for deaf, hard of hearing,
Yes,
deaf,
Patrick,
blind.
you're right.
Yes, I love it. Okay, moving on. I'm sorry if I'm calling these out of order. Like I said, I'm not great with the tech stuff. Amanda, I see your hand up.
So, on the back of what Elizabeth said, would it maybe be helpful for a little bit of like coalition building to like maybe come up with a short list or like a memo of maybe our top 5 or top 10 asks that we can share with other kind of like-minded caucuses or organizations?
I love that idea, and I think it would be something that we could tack on to our like legislative agenda.
Bro,
Um,
get out of my room. What you doing, man? I'm in a meeting.
which is something that we're talking about later on in this meeting. So I made a note, and then we can maybe bring that up later on. But I think that's a lovely idea. Um, thank you. Um, Matthew LaFleur, I believe you've been waiting for a while. Sorry, Matthew.
Yes, thank you. And yeah, some of the questions that the previous, the one of our representatives said, to this serious point, and since I've been in the state, I should tell you all the ins and out truthfully to you guys because I know I've been in it, and some of the stuff, are true, and some of it we gotta take it by ear. But I'm gonna tell you this right now, we gotta be careful because there's a whole such thing as, tokenization. We gotta come back to that. They're gonna say what they need to say, and sometimes it's just they just want to get us out of our way, pretty much, they're going to say what they want to say to get us. Will the Vermont Democratic Party help us? We do not know. but I do know from my experience of what's going to happen. First of all, everything is about the money, unfortunately. That's finance, the whole thing. Second of all, it's all about lobbying. Guess what? That's all part of Vermont, We can't evade that. Third thing is about, like I said, that one question is who do we want to in the legislature that's willing to step up for us or willing to give us even the floor to speak about what we want. Remember, like I said, I know we have got some members here from the legislative that will support us, but it has to take everybody basically it has to take a majority to make this work. To be able to be successful, this has to be a majority. Believe me, nobody likes to hear the word majority, but that's how it is in Vermont. It's democratic. So, it will the Democratic Party take us seriously? That's a point. That's a point. That's one point that I think one of the representatives made a point. Will the Democratic Party? They can say, "Oh, we support you." Same thing with the Republicans and the Independents. They can say, "Oh, we support you," but are they really taking us seriously? That's the point.
Yeah,
Because with people with disabilities, usually they would just say people out there will say anything and everything to not to make you feel good, to be happy, to be heard. But we don't want to hear this. In their mind, they don't want to hear this. They just don't want to. There's some that do support it, and there's some that just saying it just don't want to deal with it no more. It's like they have enough on their plates, probably. I know next year is going to be just say a busy year. Will we ever see the spotlight? That's the point. That's the biggest question that we need to speak to ourselves. As somebody that's seen inside the state house and see where they're going with this, and to answer your question and answer to next question and to answer one of the representatives, we do not know because of what's going on for next year. We do not know. Nobody knows. That's an honest answer that we have to search within ourselves. Nobody knows.
yeah,
Legislators are like human, like anyone else. They don't know either. And
that's
whether or not we succeed, it's going to have to be, like you said, groundwork, movement, but also we got to, like you said, we have to have a coalition of members that actually do care for what we're looking for. So it's Vermont. Basically, it's, in my point of view, since I've been in Vermont, it's basically, I'm not when I say this, but it's pretty much just, just bureaucracy policy stuff, that might get in our way of what we want.
Yeah, I hear you and I feel you, and I definitely agree. But again, I will say, like, even for the fact that we've been operating for a couple years now, we are fairly young in terms of like government action and a government entity. So, uh, as I said earlier, I think we have our foot in the door. We have the support. We're not being pushy or anything. We haven't, I don't think we've been turned away from anyone. And I think we are at that point where we need to start taking those steps, uh, being present at the State House and at functions, and more so as a caucus. I know a few of us have attended here and there, but that will slowly build our presence and equity. So just real quick, we are we're 7 minutes into our caucus business where we'll discuss the legislative agenda and task force. So I'll have Ryan, if you want to share your comment really quickly, and then we'll move on to that.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks,
Awesome. Thank
Kilani.
you.
Well, a couple things just sort of came to mind to answer Rep Burrows's question. The first is just like practical, where like if we're talking about getting something in a platform, that's usually on a 4-year cycle every around the presidential year for the platform convention. And so we have time to build something. And that is an extremely democratic process and one that is open to everybody. And I think we could be quite successful if we wanted to, by the time that comes back around again, if we wanted to have platform planks about disability access, in general, disability rights in general, that like that feels like a conversation we could be quite successful at. And certainly, it's a convention. So it's like it's just like the people, the delegates to the convention make up the, you know, Democratic Party. There's no like one decider. It's like we all get to kind of participate in that. So it's quite democratic. And I think we're in a good spot. Until that point, like really what we're talking about, I think, is the legislative agenda, because it's like we only have an opportunity every so often to rewrite the party platform outside of in the regular order of things. And honestly, like I'm also on the executive committee as a member, as a Democratic National Committee member, and I've been on it with Nick and with Asher for a long time.
Asher,
And
yeah.
so like, the I've participated both in this caucus and in other caucuses throughout the years, or committees that we've set up to do work. We're as well positioned as any of them to be successful in organizing an effort around a legislative agenda. We have multiple reps participating every single time, which is like unheard of in a lot of these meetings. We can't even get it at the executive committee level. So like that's great. And so, what and the just the participation from people who aren't in the building is like exceptional. That so the number of people on this call right now is different than some of the other committees we've had in the past. And it's just like so the level of we should be um encouraged about our own agency and power in these conversations, and to like, because we have a lot more going for us than um other efforts like this, either in the past or that are currently going on. And then the last thing I'll say is like the way, and this is maybe for the legislative agenda conversation, but like there's going to be a lot happening that matters to us, like in the education space in particular. That's where my mind goes immediately. Like what is happening in that conversation that guarantees a free and appropriate public education to everybody, regardless of disability status, and how does that interact with our funky system of education finance and our funky historical academies. And so like there's just a lot that's happening there, and a lot of conversations that are going to happen. And so like finding ways to put our voice in the conversations that are going to carry a lot of energy in the next legislative agenda, which education is obviously one of them, is will be like super important. So like we might have a lot of things we want to accomplish over time, but what are the vehicles that are going to move this in this year, and like how can we um jump in there and be a voice in those conversations will be a good way to prioritize, I think, for us.
Yes. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for all of the kind words, and that is some really great advice. And I will implore you to be a part of uh, the building of the legislative agenda. If we do, we've talked about before doing kind of a separate session meeting to focus specifically on the legislative agenda, and then tie it into the rapid response, because both of those entities are they work in tandem. And communication, education, I agree, are top tier. Let's just move on to our caucus business. The first thing that we usually do in caucus business is welcome any new faces, and ask if any of these new faces are interested in becoming members. So one of them here, Jermaine, too. I see you've got your hand raised. Do you want to introduce yourself and let us know what you're thinking?
Yes. Hey, I'm Jermaine, and I'm 16 years old. I'm a bit younger than you guys, but I think it's okay. So I have a question, especially for the younger people in here. So I wanted to ask, my brother is uh, disabled. As I'm from Germany, I can't speak good English, but I have a question. My brother, Wait, my internet is so bad. Yeah, my brother has a disability, and in school, heard that he gets often bullied and something like that. And I just want to know what should I do, because I can hear it every time he comes home. He's telling me about that people are bullying him, and I don't know what to do.
I am so sorry to hear that. That breaks my heart. So the best thing I would say, would be I mean, my advice would be, to get in touch with the counselor at the school if there is one. Um, and oh gosh, that just breaks my heart. Can you tell me where you're from again?
I'm from Germany.
Oh, so you're in
Bisque
Germany.
is the
Okay.
town.
Okay. Well, thank you for joining us. So this is a Vermont, United States caucus, and we specifically work only with the Vermont Democratic Party disability uh, community here. So thank you for joining. But I'm not sure if this is the right space for you to answer your questions and to get help for your brother. I would look for resources like us in Germany. So, uh, like any disability community places, Facebook is a really great place to look for support groups for folks in the disability community, especially young kids. And I think that might be more of what you're looking for. We talk about policy and politics in specifically in Vermont in the United States here. So I thank you for joining us, but I don't think that this is really we're going to be talking about the things that could help you specifically. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I understand it. But thank you for your advice.
Oh, you're welcome. And I wish the best for you and your brother.
Thank you very much.
I
Yes.
found a link, and I threw it in the chat that might be helpful to you in your area.
Jermaine, did you get that? One of our I'm sorry, who was that? Franly or um
It was Amanda.
it was Amanda. Amanda put a, link in the chat that might be helpful for you for some resources. Okay, moving on. It looks like the other folks that were here, the new folks maybe left. I wonder if they were thinking the same thing. Um, we've got a few minutes until the break, to talk about we were going to talk about the legislative agenda and the rapid response team. So I just because we're over time, um, I think talking about the rapid response team right now and sharing a mind map that Representative Burrows created would be good. And then we'll take our break. And when we come back, we will chat about the bills that Representative Burrows has put forth and Representative Will Greer put forth. He has a draft of one for the Green Mountain State passport to let folks get into state parks for free. So with that, I'm gonna share my screen and
Kaylani,
yes.
did you get, I sent you a second map, but I can actually if you let me share, I can share
Yeah.
the little presentation that goes along with it. I don't know if you can see that or not.
Um, yeah, I will, yeah, let me do that. So, one participant at a time. I'm gonna make you a co-host. I don't know if that will help. Um, do you see that there,
Yes.
Elizabeth?
Hold on.
I just made you a co-host.
Huh.
So you
Okay.
should be able to share your screen. I'm sorry, without Missy here, and there were some updates to Zoom over the month. Um,
Ilani, I think if you
It's
go under share and say allow multiple people to share screens, that might help.
yeah.
Although she should be able to do that as co-host too, I think.
Yeah, I did. Sorry, when I said that backwards. Yep, I do. I have that clicked, and then yeah, Elizabeth, do you see the sharing option on your screen?
uh it's not gonna let me do it. Oh wait. Wait a minute. Hold on. Aha.
All right, 15 minutes to do this. We're good to go.
All right. Let me see. Da, 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 da. Minute. Oh, come on. Can you all see my messy screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. See it.
So I simplified the mind map that I sent you, Kaylani, because I felt like it was a little too complicated. So um so I changed it to being a combination of a rapid response team and a legislative response. Um Wait a minute. Uh okay. And so each of these bars, these colors, is really basically a person or a team. Okay. I'm going to start with the strategy and objectives. Just to, aren't I? I think I am. There I am. Okay. Um, this is just trying to break it down into smaller steps. So this could be one person, and I just threw this together. This is not a real thing. This is just a framework, but it basically uh, we would basically pick one or two priority bills, and we could create core messages about those priority bills. Um, that's for priority legislation. Uh, so that what I'm Can you see? Am I getting glitchy because I am on my screen?
You're getting a little glitchy, but I think it is smooth
Yeah, you
enough.
look fine to me. Looking good to
Okay.
me.
Yeah.
Really saying.
Okay. It basically is this part of the rapid response team would be that if there was a piece of legislation that was quickly taken up, or there was something that occurred about it, or they were quickly asking for witnesses to come and testify in committee, or things like that, or they're about to make a pivotal decision on something. It would be great to be able to get everybody to get word out quickly, and uh, yeah. So that's that part of the rapid response. Um, Hold on.
What's a CTA?
Call
It's
to
a
action.
Yeah.
call to action. Thank you.
Sorry, my computer has gotten really slow here. Hold on. Hold on.
Can
Sorry.
you quit some of the applications,
I know,
maybe?
right? Come on. There.
Don't you love technology?
I know. Well, it doesn't help that I'm in the basement.
This is really great though. It
So
it is a
here are some uh addition. So another team would be uh uh creating um creating the response, creating the reports out and the rules for reporting out to our members. There would have to be one person who is kind of the lead on that. Um, and all of these details on the far right side are they're just suggestions, but they're really it's a decision tree about how uh, who actually decides that word goes out to the whole disability caucus, who what response actually gets uh, shared outwards. Um, let's see. And then this is uh, things that we can do outwards. We could create little videos. We could create viral content for social media, and we can also the other way around um, keep an eye on social media. Chana's been really doing a great job with that already. And then here's another. Are you still able to see all of this? Just checking. Okay. Um, these are methods to um, uh, reach out beyond our core group to to try to get the legislature to move on a particular issue. Um, these are just some kind of suggested steps that could be taken, and that also would really be it would need one point person who, like, when called upon, uh, uh, could has the list of people's contacts and has an idea already about they already know what bills there are. I have an intern who's going to be working with me this year, and I plan to have him be in direct contact with this caucus, with so that you can be kept up to date on stuff that's happening in the legislature. Um, and did I just see a comment? I can't see what it is, but uh, so the person who is the direct legislative action person isn't doing all of the things. They just have in their mind what the options are for a response. And forget about budget allocation. But uh, what I meant when I put in logistics, legal, and evaluation was really uh, what do we do when there's a new executive order that comes out? How do we as a caucus want to respond to it? How do we as a caucus, what do we as a caucus want to ask for, and whom do we ask? And I think that, yeah, that's the end of. So
hey.
yes, I'd be glad. I sent Kaylani in answer to your question, you and I sent Kaylani a copy of this mind map so you can poke around on it as much as you want. And uh, again, this was just a very, very cursory glance at trying to make it simpler than the one that I sent to Kaylani earlier. uh, which also has lots of fingers on it. They each are that was much more specific. They each have like steps that we could decide on together.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. Beth?
I tried really hard to communicate this to everybody before the meeting on Facebook, and it didn't really work well. But I think I have a really good case example for this. It's something that came to my attention about it wasn't legislation, but well, it was what happened in response to the Act 133 task force. Like the disability advocates were really dissatisfied with what the task force reported and asked for people to like do written addenda and say, hey, this isn't what we think. Anyway, if we want after the break, if we want to go through that and see how it might work in this progression on the map, we could do that, or we could just talk about it. But I just wanted to point out that it would have been a great time when we could have used something like this. So
And
it's
it could have been, I mean, one of the things is that it could have been our caucus could have jumped in there and we could have fanned out to other individuals and yeah, that's a great case study,
could
actually.
have. Unfortunately, like I learned about it through my town DEI committee, and we didn't even have a chance to be able to react as a group. We reacted as individuals, but like we can't talk in between meetings because we're a town committee. And anyway, so yeah, it might be a good thing to talk about. And this would have been a case if we were right, like if we knew exactly what to do, we could have, yeah.
Yeah, I am so sorry that I missed that. Again, this month has been kind of rough for me, and I wasn't very
It
active
wasn't
on
you.
Facebook.
It wasn't you. It was I was trying to put it on like a comment on Facebook. So I need to get emails for people. I was just trying to
Okay.
do it all through Facebook. It's not you.
Okay, yeah.
Not, I would
And
like to just point out that not all of us are on Facebook, including me.
yeah, yeah. So email, I tend to hit everything. I tend to like to hit both Facebook and email when there's something that needs to be communicated to the whole caucus. And you are always free to reach out to me directly on my cell phone. That is the number one best way to get my attention if I'm not responding on email or Facebook because of my condition. I need to limit my computer time, so I'm not always online, but I'm always with my phone. So if you need my attention on something, feel free to send me a text message, be like, hey, Kay, look at this email. There's a case study. There's something for the rapid response team. Um, and
Brad also said he wasn't on Facebook as well, just to add that.
Yeah,
oh, yeah,
the reason
okay.
I did Facebook is because I don't have any other contact information for anybody because I joined through the Facebook group. So
Okay.
I'll just make
Yeah.
sure I get it.
I will task Misi when she comes back to create to clean up our member contact list.
Yeah.
We've try it a couple times. I think we'll give it one more shot to send out a Google form for everybody to write their information in. And I think we'll actually have success now that we're a little bit more formed. We've got more of a core group and more folks. And so I know it'll be repetitive for like Eldon and Ewan and Elizabeth, but I think that would be really good to have. And then we'll send that out to everyone in the caucus, so everyone has everybody's contact information. And it can be a living document and will stay up to date. And owned by our secretary. So I've made a note for that. Um, so we've got a couple minutes here before our break. So we were going to uh, discuss, like I said, the bills that have been drafted. Um, in our when we come back, and then we've got from 7:15 to 7:30 for other business and announcements where we can like if we end early with our bill chat, we can jump back to this, and I would love to hear more about this specific case study. And like you said, maybe we can like walk through how we could have done it as a caucus, like following the rapid response steps that Elizabeth has so wonderfully laid out. Um, does that sound good to everybody? Okay, great. Well, yep, we're at it's uh 6:55. Oh my gosh, we went right through the break.
Well, 5 minutes.
Yeah, let's take a 5-minute break, okay? Is that okay with everyone? All right, we'll meet back here at 7 o'clock, okay? All right, thank you. Hey everyone. And we'll give people a minute or two to come back, but I just wanted to jump in and let you know that we got Zoom bombed. Somehow, some teenagers, I don't know if you noticed them. They were on the screen. They got our link and they were messing around with us. They didn't do any harm. They just said some uh, slightly inappropriate things in the chat. I deleted it and reported them, so hopefully they will not come back on. I mean, uh, so no one can needs to worry about it. But Nick, can you just keep a lookout for folks who are trying to sign on? They may change their name. I reported and blocked them, so they shouldn't be able to come back. But
Yeah, I messaged, yeah, I messaged you about that. Yeah.
oh, you did? I'm sorry, I
Yeah.
didn't see it. Okay. Oh, I see it. Something. Yep, I see it now. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, troublemaker. Thank you, Chana. So, yeah, I hope Macy's okay. This is why I I am really bad with multitasking with the tech. Nick, if you see stuff like that in the future and I'm like fumbling, please like feel free to
Yeah,
stop.
if I don't recognize the name, I'm just going to not.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now that that is settled, looks like most of us are back. Let us take a look at uh, the bills that have been drafted. So in the top of the chat, I put in um, a bill that Representative Will Greer has drafted. I just put it back in at the bottom of the chat for everyone. It is the Green Mountain Passport that will allow folks in the disability community access to state parks free of charge, which is, I think, pretty wonderful. Apparently, it is a pretty normal thing in most of the other states, uh, but we don't do it for some reason. And Vermont has like some of the most state parks per capita, like
How
out of
many
all the
state
states.
parks are there? Do we know the answer to that? How many
Ooh,
actually do we have in Vermont? I mean, and how many are there in the USA that
I,
actually don't require any payment? Do we have any idea? And how is that
I
promoted and whatever? Just wondering about what that number might look like.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It's just recollection. When I was creating the resources for the our um, website, I remember seeing it, and I don't remember what it is, but it is in our like in our resources on the state park site. But Representative Greer has asked us to take a look at that uh, draft that I put in the chat. So if all of you have a chance to do so, feel free to write your comments back to me, and I will forward them to Representative Greer, or you can feel free to just send them to Representative Greer directly. Uh, in He was asking to have them back by, I think it was January 6th. That I'll try and double check that date for you.
It's Friday.
It's Friday. Yes. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, Friday. Thank you. Yeah, just
All
ask
changes
one
have to
of
be in
those
by
guys.
Friday.
Yeah, okay. It's Friday. So does anyone have any questions on that? Do you want me to share the screen real quick with it? Hi, Ewan.
Well, I haven't looked at his draft yet, but I have a passport because I'm over 65 or 62, I forget which, but I've had it for years. I don't I've never had, I've even gotten let into Burlington city parks for free, even though it's a state pass, so it seems that process that it seems to work fine. I've never had a problem with it. So if it's built on that example, then I think we're probably headed in the right direction.
Yeah, me too. And I think it is. I believe that's what he told us it was going to be framed around last time or at our last meeting. Franley?
Yeah, so I'm just kind of wondering also if this bill is specifically designed to provide for individual access. So instead of like, what if there's a group or that has like one child or an older person or one person in the family that fits the criteria for that? So is it kind of widespread in that regard as well? Do you know anything about the thinking of that? I mean, in national or federal parks or whatever, the way it works, sometimes you get this pass and it allows you to get in free. But perhaps there's a family that only has one disabled member, then the family may or may not get into those free. So I just wondered what this particular proposed passport is going to be providing, if it's going to be all members of the family that are traveling together or just this one particular person. And also, is that parking? Is that kind of everything
Right.
regarding park access?
Right. Yeah, that is a great question. And I would encourage you to, sorry, to take a look at the draft yourself. I will make a note to do the
Yeah, I didn't
same.
see anything regarding that. It didn't
I didn't
necessarily
either.
reference that. It
Okay.
talked about how to get the passport and what the benefit it would be and all this kind of stuff, but it didn't go into the weeds about that kind of
Yeah, okay. So
details
yeah,
of
I
it.
didn't either. So we are on the same page. Uh that is a perfect example of something that you should bring up to Representative Greer as soon as you can, or I could do so for you, whichever you'd like. But because I think it is a valid and important point, especially for the disability
Yeah.
community.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, and Representative Greer, I just want to make sure I had the name right, but I've got it. Thank you.
Okay, great. Representative Burrows.
I was just going to point out that, I mean, some of these things can be, it depends on which committee it goes to. It's assigned to, it would probably be assigned to agriculture because they deal with parks and recreation. And so they don't know much about disability is the thing. And that's why um, it is important to try to send an email to Will before Friday to tell him what you think. And I would say my question is, um, disability in whose eyes? In the eyes of the state, in the eyes of the federal government, in the eyes of, I mean, it does not designate.
That is such an awesome question. I completely agree with that chain of thought. Absolutely.
Yeah. So those are questions that would be good to get into the bill and not just have the committee. But again, if the committee wound up taking this bill up, we could provide testimony for them about what they should be asking and what they should be thinking about.
Yeah,
Absolutely. I agree. That sounds great. Yeah, and I am happy to do that. I'm happy to be one of the people to be able to do that. I mean, I do a lot of camping. I love being outside, my friends and I, and whatever. That's the kind of thing that I'm all about doing. So I'm happy to explain the benefits of that and be part of that kind of effort if you wanted. A lot of people have been wanting to do this sort of thing, and it'd be something I'd get behind. Absolutely.
thank you. Well, yeah, I think that's a great point. And I also wanted to add on that um, uh, Franley and I don't need to be the only ones sending Will these comments. I think the more he gets from this caucus, the better. And the more influence um, that we have will, you know, make an impact and make this bill really be as inclusive and accessible as it should be. and make the point that it's trying to through the voices of people from the disability community, which is exactly what we're trying to do in this caucus. Ewan.
Yeah, it, this will all call up the idea of there has to be stuff there that's accessible. I mean, it's for anybody to even want to go, to a park. And if there are no wheelchair accessible paths or to any place interesting in the park, then that's going to make a difference as to who comes to use the paths. I mean, maybe this is all stating the obvious, but I know there's one somewhere in Addison County that is specifically wheelchair accessible, and
Yep.
and but I don't see accessibility features at most parks. Signage, that's it.
True.
So
Yeah,
we need to tell them, if you build it, we will come. And
yes,
this is what.
I think. Oh, so sorry to interrupt. Are you?
Okay, and that's all right. The second point was, if you build it, we will come, and we will help you figure out what the it is.
And we will help you with the voices from the disability community because we're the ones who know. Exactly. I think your point goes on to one of the larger bills that Elizabeth is putting forth, or is it just like a thought that we've had that we need an ADA coordinator in this state to enforce this kind of thing? Because like a lot of the pushback in that I've personally heard is that Vermont is an old state. We have to preserve historical buildings. We can't ruin them, quote unquote, by making them ADA accessible. It's ridiculous in my mind. But we need an ADA coordinator, and someone like that would be the one, well, a team, not just a coordinator. A team would be the ones who would um, enforce those rules and regulations around making parks truly accessible.
But at the same time, um, each step is important. It's like you don't have to have it all together in order for it to have an effect. So that wouldn't want any legislators feeling snowballed by having to do everything at once. And it's useful and helpful to have some accessibility, even if it's not all the accessibility.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know if you saw in the chat, Ewan, but Elizabeth wrote that there's a huge group of disability advocates who got together over the weekend this summer and cataloged which trails are accessible.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
I don't know why it said the weekend. I'm sorry. But they were are they working on cataloging which parks are accessible on behalf of a certain organization? They got together it was partly because of a bill that I've put in 3 times, which was an accessible trails bill, and it's been shot down every time I've put it in. But they all felt that I made a pretty good case for accessible trails, and one of my claims was that it's like it was at the time that I started that bill, it was like 5 parks in the whole state that had a real amount of accessibility. And so they decided they had come into the Agriculture Committee to testify on that bill, and they decided to do it anyway, at least starting by cataloging what we do have. And they created a website. It's an opt-in website. So if you go to a park and you find it has accessibility features, the idea is for you to go to this website and catalog it so that it is cataloged by people with disabilities. I um, over the month of July tested out some of the parks that they felt were accessible, and um, I didn't think they were remotely
Yeah.
accessible. So uh I just want a flat place to walk. That's all. I just want to be able to think about things other than my feet. But uh this group, and it was like 100 people. I mean, it was a big group of people. They say that they will have it all the kinks worked out by the next park season, and they were really excited about the work that they have done. So
Do
um
do you remember what they were called or
I'll send you the email that they sent me. I don't remember off the top of my head what it's like a really generic name that's impossible to remember because but
Okay.
uh, uh,
Um,
yeah, it's in the that is in the it's not Vorak is part of it. They are a
oh,
member of this group, but they're not the group. And then there was like Vermont Parks and Rec, and there was like a whole bunch of, and also members of the um, uh, disability, like, I don't know, Vermont Center for Independent Living, I think was involved. There were a bunch of those organizations as well. Just a huge effort, and they had broken out into
okay.
um,
Yeah, groups to
yeah,
spread across the
more.
state. Okay. That's awesome. So it is 7:16, so we are c coming to close of our meeting. Real quickly, Elizabeth, can I put you on the spot and can you just give us a 5 to 10 minute update on where you are with the bill drafts that you've put forth that you can just need the big ones on the top of your head?
Well, I really screwed up. Um, I over the drafting deadline was the Monday after Thanksgiving, and I uh, I thought on even up until Sunday, even on Monday, I thought a couple of people had told me that it was actually the following Friday, and that wound up being not accurate. And uh, I have interrogated extensively why I was so willing to believe that it was the Friday and not the Monday, but I missed that deadline. But the long form bills that I had been working on in the last several months, I've gotten guarantees from the chairs of the committees that they would go to because they are actually drafted. They're just not in they haven't gone through the legislative council. But I have given them in the draft form to the committee chairs. Um, so that's two long form bills, the emergency planning bill and also the uh, disability coordinator bill. Um, so I think I have them pretty secured actually. Those are both going through, they would both go through the Government Operations Committee. Um, and then I had I think about a dozen short form bills, which have not yet. They're slowly coming back. Um, I've gotten drafts. I got a draft on Ryan's bill. I got a draft on the bill I think I forwarded to you, Kaylani, about the zoning for adding accessibility features to a home. I got that draft back. I think I've gotten three or four drafts back. Those are all on short forms and they all look fine. But as they come out, I've been forwarding them to the people who requested them. So I have not yet received a draft back, but just to clarify, short form bill corrections are not due on Friday. Only long form bill corrections are due on Friday. So there's still plenty of time to get those short form bills back. And your bill, Kaylani, about receiving more money to live, for goodness sakes.
Yeah, Medicaid
Yeah.
for adults and children income qualifiers to equal the Medicaid for blind and disabled qualifiers.
Yeah, we went back and forth on that several times. I'm still waiting for a near final draft to forward to you, but we had a sort of I have a good relationship with the person who does drafting for healthcare, having served on healthcare for a biennium. And so we sort of went back and forth about making sure we got that specific and accurate. And so that should be out in the next little bit. And yeah, there's about a dozen of those short form bills.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you so much. And don't beat yourself up about the miscommunication on the deadline. Does anyone have questions for Elizabeth Eldon? No. Just kidding. Does anyone have any comments or we can take like maybe like 4 or 5 minutes of comments or questions. And then does anyone, any of our other legislators here, have anything they want to add of what they've been working on?
Dave here. I
Hi,
can't
Dave.
find my hand signal, but I'll just jump in. I've Google says Vermont has 55 state parks.
Ah,
That sounds incredibly high to me, but is
yeah.
Google ever wrong? I don't know. There you go. That's my contribution.
Thank you. Yeah, okay. I'm writing that down. I'm just curious. I want to find that.
Really, I thought that was higher than that, but 55 seems low. I thought
Really?
Franny's saying I thought maybe there was more, but
Maybe more. Okay, yeah. Because I'm definitely going to add that in my comment for Will. Okay, Eldon.
Yeah, I need to let people know that for a variety of reasons, I am not going to be able to be a liaison at the legislature during this coming session.
Okay.
That is not going to be something I'm going to be able to do. I'm going to miss it. I've enjoyed it very much, but there are things going on in our lives that are going to make that impossible. I will say this: it was a lot easier to do this kind of work when there was a shuttle that could take you to the State House and back. And without the shuttle, I was spending about 45 minutes walking over and 45
Oh
minutes
gosh.
walking back. And which is why I only got up there twice this last session, which was not particularly impressive. And this year, I'm just simply not going to be able to do it, for which I'm very sorry.
Oh, please do not worry, and again, do not beat yourself up either. And health and family and happiness comes first. And thank you for all of the work that you've done and are doing, and I'm sure you are still going to be. You'll find other ways.
I want to be as active as possible behind the scenes, and I'll leave it at that.
Thank you, Veldon.
Yep.
Okay. Beth, are you just doing the hand thing or do you have a question?
Oh no,
Okay, I do that too. I talk with my hands or think with my
I wasn't
hands.
even talking with my hands. I was just gesticulating.
I do that. We do have two hands raised now. I'm not Amanda.
So anyone who might be in the Rutland region, you may have seen that Marble Valley Transit is changing some of their routes and some of their scheduling and timing. And I realize that that's kind of disrupting lives right now, but they are currently doing time for comment from the public. So I'm going to throw an email into the chat for Tyler at thebus.com. If you are affected or you have any comment that you want to contribute to this change, you can email Tyler.
Okay, thank you, Amanda. Are you on our Facebook page?
Yes.
Do you mind adding like sending putting that in the discussion there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, great, thank you. And Nick.
Yes, there's a big headline earlier this month about the property tax rates going up again, and I was wondering how folks in the legislature what their views are on the what because that's been used as a stick in the past to Democrats with by Republicans, what their plans are looking like in terms of education this upcoming legislative session.
Um, okay. David, did you have a response to that, or Ryan?
Sure, a little one, a
Okay.
quick one, I mean. The governor proposed in his budget adjustment bill to put $75 million towards buying down the property tax rate. And that would bring it an estimate from 12% an increase down to 7% increase. FYI. There's also a bill being introduced to put a freeze on property taxes for 3 years. But any funds needed to pay for education costs would come out of the general fund, which would compete, of course, with everything else. I don't know if that's going to get traction or not. Very well may. That's what I know right now.
Thank you. That is
Yep.
helpful. Thank you. Ryan.
Yeah, I just wanted to update everyone on a bill I mentioned last time. We had a meeting and I had sent it over a draft over to Rep Burrows. She diligently had something drafted. And then I found out that it had been introduced last year by Reps Burke and Chena, and I'm forgetting a couple more. But and so it is currently still a draft, and the sort of national folks I had been working with are working with a local business owner who's an amputee, and he's been sort of spearheading some of the effort. So I'm going to connect with both of them soon here, and would love to plug this group into sort of seeing if we could. They have pretty modest goals, like just to get a committee hearing, maybe, or to be able to talk about it in front of the committee. So having enlisting this group to help in that effort, if we can do it as part of one of the lobbying days, who knows? But just wanted to update you on that. And then on my own updates, this is not a secret, but an open secret. But I want to let you all know that I will be running for lieutenant governor next year.
Oh.
I've taken leave from my work in Senator Welch's office. And yeah, I feel pretty strongly that I have the experience and needed to sort of meet the moment. And, in the execution of the campaign, while there are a lot of issues to talk about, I can't hide the fact that I'm a paraplegic. And, I take a lot of strength from that, frankly. Like, we all have our shit, and we are all broken in our own weird little ways, and I can't hide mine. It's just out there for everybody, and that's quite freeing, actually. In some ways, I feel quite confident in who I am and what I believe and my values because of that. It's forced me to sort of come to terms with all that stuff, and so it means a lot to me to be sort of taking on this endeavor as a visibly disabled person. And someone I don't see in our politics all that often, and are like the only example of, there's a few incredible examples. There's a few not so great, like, Governor Abbott in Texas is like not a great representative for our team. So, um,
The wheels of justice.
yeah, right. Um, but yeah, so like I'd love, this is not, the time or place probably, but I wanted to tell you all before uh, I announced it, because this is a community that means a lot to me, and will be, hopefully will be a part of, it will be a part of the dialogue as this I actually launch this endeavor.
That is fantastic. Thank you so much, Ryan, for sharing that, and congratulations. And
Thanks.
I'm looking forward to your campaign. You have my vote and my support. Um, yeah. Um, so we are at 7:31, so past our end time. Anyone who would like to or needs to head out, please feel free to do so. Um, I wanted to stay on for just a couple more minutes and chat with anyone who had ideas of what they would like to do for our January meeting. We did get, it was kind of, um, we did kind of miss a lot of our discussion on the legislative agenda, so we could all take, we could focus on the legislative agenda in January again, and have that be our main discussion topic, and go home with homework to think about that legislative agenda and what we want it to look like. And maybe we could also walk through that case study that Beth brought up, so we can actually like get the rapid response going. The interruption with the teenage hooligans kind of screwed things up in our meeting, and but how does that sound for everyone? Or the other hand, I was going to take a stab at inviting our the like I said, the new executive director of the VDP executive committee um, to join us and meet us, so we could kind of do everything. Any thoughts on that?
Can you elaborate on who that person is, please, and what their role?
Oh, so the chair of the executive committee of the Vermont Democratic Party is Lachlan Francis, I believe is his name. I know, I think Asher knows him. Ryan, maybe do you know him? Oh, Ryan, I think had to go. But he's the new chair, and he does not know who we are, and I really want to introduce us to him, and let him know we're here and we're doing things, and uh, get his support, etc. Um, David?
Yeah, yes, everything you said made sense to me. I just wanted to add quickly at a future meeting, the notion of keeping a legislative report card or a legislative scorecard so that we track how people, Democrats, Republicans, Independents, Progressives, everybody votes on these issues. I think by doing that and publishing it at the end of the session, that if we seek attention, that will get it, and people will take us seriously. I don't think it needs to be intimidating. It's not a um, we'll be able to set up a process as to which votes count, and then keeping track is not hard because the Legislative Council does that. It's all on the web. So one, do people want to do that? And then two, operationally, how would we do that? FYI, just a thought that I had. Other groups do it. They don't necessarily, the Conservation Commission, the Vermont Conservation League of Voters, they don't necessarily tell you, oh, we're tracking that vote. They might if you ask them, but sometimes they haven't decided to the end of the session. Same thing with the Chamber of Commerce. You rarely, sometimes you do, but we're tracking this vote, and as if it's going to alter how you vote. It could with some people. So I just wanted to put that on the table, and if there's not room at the January meeting, maybe February.
Yeah, maybe February. Yeah,
Yep.
definitely. I love that idea. I will put that
Yep.
in the agenda to chat about, and yeah, either February or January.
Now I'm going to
Um,
sign myself off now, and hope to see you all next year.
all
I always
right,
like to
great.
sign. Bye now.
Thanks, David. Bye.
Yep.
And Elizabeth?
I'd defer to Beth first.
Oh, okay, sorry, I'm so bad at seeing who's
Yeah, I think
raised
that's
their hand.
impossible actually to see who's first. By the way, I know Lachlan, and I'm the county chair in Chittenden County, and he actually came out to a meeting of our committee in person on December 22nd in the snow. So I'm
Oh my
sure he'll show
goodness.
up. He's a good guy. He was the county chair in Wyndham, like he's been around. He was a county chair in Wyndham County. Um, anyway, also you might invite May, who's the executive.
Yeah,
She's
I've
like the
been
paid
trying to
person.
get May.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's busier in a way. But
Yeah.
also, I don't know how our rules work, but I'd love to further this addendum to the report of the Act 133 task force among our group. Is it okay for us to work in between meetings via email and stuff like that? It is.
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
Because I'd love to, I have to get the email address for everybody, or at least for you, Kaylani, to send this addendum out because I think maybe we want to sign on to it. I tried to post it in the chat and it's too long. But anyway, basically what they're saying is this task force was formed to improve accessibility for people with disabilities and people who have to work and people who are incarcerated, et cetera. And basically what the task force ended up reporting was, this is what the law already says. And so just work within the ADA, and it doesn't really work for that purpose. So this big group of people, including the ACLU, et cetera, signed on to say, we think this should be changed. So I'd love to send the whole thing out to everybody and see what people think, and maybe we as an organization could sign on to the addendum saying, let's look at this more. Is that okay with our bylaws? Okay.
Yeah, yeah, sure. I will send you the email list that we have
I
right
agree.
now.
That goes with the bylaws, sure.
Okay,
Yep.
so I'm just saying that because our DEI group, we're not allowed to work outside of meetings because we have like warning and it's a whole different thing. So
Nope.
we had to sign on as individuals, but I'd love to do that. So yeah, and then we could
Yeah.
also use it as a case study for how could we have done this quicker. So,
Yeah. Thank you, Beth. Yeah, I'll send you the email list that we have, like their giant one, and then I do have that note to task me C to send out another form to really get all of the active
yeah,
members um that
I
we
just
see
don't
like
even
on a
have
regular
your
basis.
email address, weirdly.
Yeah, and I put my email address in the chat.
Oh, awesome. Yeah,
Yep,
that's what I need. Yeah.
yep. So you've got it there. Okay, Elizabeth, anything?
I was just gonna say that I think that we should try to spend 10 minutes, just 10 minutes, just talking about the response team, because I think we could get it worked out pretty quickly, actually. If we just concentrated simply on that, like, and had a couple of people who agreed to lead different sections. I don't think it would take more than an hour a week. I think it's a pretty, actually pretty low barrier or low commitment thing. It's just if we don't have a structured way of responding to things, then everybody's going to get lots of emails from a lot of different people about lots of emergencies as they crop up, and nobody will know how to actually respond, and it'll become overwhelming really quickly, is my experience in the social equity caucus. So um the to the degree that we can like get a handle on who does what, I think it would be really helpful and really effective in raising our visibility and also raising participation.
Great. I've got it. It will be on the agenda. Fantastic. Thank you, Elizabeth. And yeah, I will, along with that, I'm going to tag that on to the email that Macy will send out with the form for membership uh, emails list to review the new mind map that you made, and say that, or ask for folks to take a look and gauge their interest, and that it's going to be an agenda item for our next meeting. Sound good?
Excellent.
Okay. Raise your hand if you're tired. Okay. All right.
Peace be upon you all. Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy
Yes,
New
Happy New
Year.
Year. I call this meeting to adjourn at 7:41 p.m. On December, what day is it? 30th? Okay. Good
30th.
night.
Bye.
Bye.
For now.
Bye,
Bye,
everyone.
everyone.
Thank you
Goodbye.
so much.